Hello and welcome to Dr. Nishant's diary. This one's called The Earthquake. This is a very interesting take on human psychology, I suppose. So, when you're in the trauma reception area, there are a lot of people who are actually telling you that, you're not taking care of our patients very well, being neglected because there's so many patients, and there's so few doctors, and all that jazz. But here's something that interesting that happened recently in Chandigarh. So I was putting skull traction on a kid who was about 6 years old. Skull traction is basically this kid had a fracture of his neck. Now, if this patient moves his neck too much, he might get paralyzed. The kid was otherwise moving his limbs, which is a good thing because his spinal cord wasn't injured. So what you have to do is you have to put sort of like pincers on the head, which and then attach them with a rope to a weight while the kid is lying down, and this keeps the spine in place and helps it fusing the spine properly so that the and later on you can take the child up for a definitive procedure and hopefully the bones will fuse and not cause any more damage. So I was putting the pincers and I finished it, and I was just pulling on it slightly just to check it, when suddenly I see all the attendants of all the patients like just going out the door, and I thought maybe it's a mass casualty, because maybe some bus crashed or some major thing happened, and people, in India, people are very interested in watching horrendous accidents, especially on the road, and that's what causes a lot of traffic jams. So it happens in the trauma reception area that maybe a major case comes in, people just want to see what's happened. But then suddenly someone started shouting, Bhukam paya, there's an earthquake. And I was like, earthquake? What earthquake? I hadn't noticed it till then, but the walls were shaking. And then the shaking got worse. And then it got even worse. It's I think up to date, it's one of the strongest earthquakes I've ever felt. And it was felt all over Chandigarh. And, uh, so I didn't know what to do. So I left the traction was done. I didn't put the weights, but the tongs were there. So I didn't know what to do about the kid because the kid couldn't move. So I handed a wooden chair to the attendant and I said, "Put this over the kid." And she didn't understand because she didn't feel the earthquake either, because her kid was having this minor procedure done. She thought I was doing something very odd and leaving the place while her kid had this pin, and she didn't know what to do. But I was telling her, it like there is the ground is shaking. If something happens, you can't move the kid that fast, so just put this over his head just in case something falls. And anyways, and then I noticed all around me, people had just left their patients. I mean, literally, they had left patients who needed care, and just like that, and run out. I mean, it just it comes to show that I guess self-preservation is one of our most important forces, the strongest forces of our nature. I mean, I read this book which is very poorly written, but it was called Chanakya Niti, and apparently Chanakya said this a good number of centuries ago, that the the first priority of a person is self-preservation. But this just comes to show it. I mean, here are people who are sons and daughters and brothers and sisters and fathers of patients who are neurological patients who are often unconscious, just lying on the trolley, and a lot of them, on the sign of an earthquake, they run out without their patient, without even pulling the trolley out. So I don't really know what to think of that. But well, you tell me. Anyways, like, subscribe, and share.